John Davidson here with Sprayworks Equipment Group. Let's get ready for another episode of Fix It Friday. Welcome to Fix It Friday. On this week's episode, we're going to discuss overspray on vehicles, overspray in general, how to deal with those situations, and who to call. So you've shown up to the job, and customer or one of the tenants of the buildings comes up and says, "Hey, I have stuff on my car. What are you guys putting on up there?" And you're going to have a way to manage that situation, what's going to be best for you and your business to protect you and the customer. In this case, oftentimes, the first reaction on the customer's part is to get it to a detail shop. I need my car painted. And you're going to get a bunch of different feedback and a bunch of different opinions on what's the best practice. After many overspray incidents, we found great ways to handle that. So we're going to discuss those things. What is important to emphasize is not every detail shop and not every car dealer understands the proper way to remove a lot of these products. And it's a quite simple procedure. It just involves clay bar and a lot of elbow grease, and you'll get the vehicle clean again. So we're going to provide you with an attachment letter that's going to explain to the customer exactly how the process is going to go. And it's going to just be up to you to manage that process. There's going to be many approaches. Perhaps you might want to go ahead and source it out and get the cars detailed. Usually that involves to a mobile detail service that can come out and handle the cars, one or two at a time. Generally what you're going to see is a detailer that's going to set up a canopy. They're going to wash the tar off. They're going to do the clay bar treatment and then reapply wax, because the clay bar will remove anything, tar and grime, road grime, and also the overspray that you put on the vehicle. Okay, at first instance, what you want to do is go down to the vehicle, and you want to identify what overspray is on the vehicle. And for that, for you coder guys out there, you should have a magnifying loupe for doing your slit samples on the roof. If you don't, a simple magnifying glass will work. What you're going to want to do is get a look at what exactly is on the car. Is it spray foam? Is it polyurea? Is it silicone coatings? Is it paint from the construction zone the person drove through last night? If it's black and you're doing white, it's probably not your responsibility, but you're going to need a way to show the customer what's on their car and correctly identify what it is. Foam will show up under the magnifier, and of course all the coating colors will show up as well. Once word is out that you have overspray on one vehicle, you might as well have oversprayed 50 vehicles, because everybody is going to come out and say, "Hey, I have stuff on my car too." And so you'll want to identify that first. Now, what you are going to run into is a varying degree of people. Some people just use a vehicle to put the key in and press the throttle and go. Others care for it like it's a child. You're going to find that a lot of people that say they really care for their cars, once you do a thorough inspection of quarter panels down by the tires and stuff, that they really don't keep their car that clean. And it's nothing you necessarily need to point out. You want to avoid a confrontation, but some people just don't take as good a care of their finish as they like to claim. So, but the good thing about that is that this clay bar process is going to remove all that road grime, and you're actually going to return the car 99.9% of the time better than what the customer has it. So you're going to have a pleased customer. Now, the clay bar will work on glass. It'll work on the paint. It'll work on the plastic. But you will have to reapply wax once that's done. So there's a couple different ways to do that. So identify what's on the car. And then you're going to want to identify any damages that are on that vehicle before you even get started. Scratches, things of that nature. Point those things out to the customer. Get a photo documentation. And then, of course, you're going to hand them the form that's going to explain to them what they need to do. Most state laws are going to allow you time as a contractor to rectify the situation. People just can't run off and get their cars painted and then hand you a bill without proper notification. So that's really what that letter is going to stress is, give you the time to rectify it. It's really not that bad. Now, there's a couple approaches. You can take this on yourself and do the cleaning. You can call in a mobile detail shop that's qualified for it. If your insurance is going to cover you on it, this is something you can tackle yourself. Some contractors have clay bars already prepared to give to the customer and say, here's your clay bar and a can of wax. Just clean your car yourself. It'll take care of it. The best thing is just to avoid the overspray situation altogether, but that doesn't always work. And accidents do happen, wind shift, things occur. So this is about having the information you need to take care of the situation properly. So you've set up to detail the person's vehicle. You've identified the overspray is in fact your responsibility. Now you're going to go clean it. There's going to be different things on the car, like the rubber seals around the windows, tires. Your products basically aren't going to stick to that. So when you pre-wash the vehicle, most of that stuff's going to come off. If you do use pressure washing, we recommend light pressure washing. Nothing really over 3,000 psi. Stay under that. No oscillating heads. Anything that's going to compromise the finish on the vehicle, you want to stay away from that. Keep the distance away with pressure washers, but a good rinse down and a hand wash with just some mild detergent or car cleaner is suffice to do it. It's going to clean off any road grime and gritty stuff that could get caught up in your clay bar, and just give you at least a good finish to start with, so you can really focus on just the overspray. One thing you want to really be cognizant of is if you're going to have your guys do it, or even your detailer do it, a lot of times they'll show up with button downs, steel belt buckles, zippers, different jackets, things that can scratch the finish on the car. We're going to recommend that you get some soft aprons and wear these aprons while you're bending over people's cars, just to prevent you doing any damage to their finish, through the process. So, one of the things is a lot of times you can't get to the overspray right away, but that person's going to drive home in the evening. They could hit a rain. They could have their line of sight compromised by the overspray potentially, if it's very aggressive. So you may want to just clean the windows right away for the customer and say, hey, let's get your windows cleaned off. And that way the sun blur and rain isn't going to compromise your line of sight. And to do that. Now, there's a couple ways you can approach it. Yes, the clay bar will work on the windows. Razor blades, if you feel comfortable with your guys using razor blades, some water in a squirt bottle and some window cleaner and a nice razor will work very well. We recommend using these little replaceables razors. You don't want to go in a back and forth motion. You don't want to get stuff caught on the back of the blade and then run it back across the window. You always just want to bring it down like you're shaving in one direction and work your way across the window, keeping plenty of lubrication on there. Blades dull, just toss them and just have plenty of these. Again, you could use just water. Recommend using distilled water so you don't leave water spots on the vehicle, and then just a window cleaner to clean those when you're done. You're not going to, you only apply the wax to the paint areas. On the black plastic parts of the car, clay bar will work fine there. Again, you don't need to apply wax, but you could put some something to shine up that rubber when you're done with it. How you present that car back to the customer is generally going to be cleaner than what they kept it. So if you go that extra mile and really clean it up for them, they'll appreciate it a little bit more. Again, that's if you're doing it, or if you're having a service provided for it, or you're having the customer do it themselves. You'll want to walk through those recommendations with them, build that level of trust and professionalism that's necessary. You can run into some problems with the razor blades. They might say, hey, you put a scratch in my window and stuff like that, because it is clear glass and not always visual until somebody gets down there with a magnifying glass and starts looking around at stuff. It's not uncommon to have pock marks in the windshield, or to have debris that's worked on the windshield over the years that's pitted it. Your razor blade isn't going to cause those types of things. Clay bar isn't going to cause those types of things. So just little information for you there. So we're going to demonstrate cleaning the window off. You run your fingers across the window, you can feel the grit on it. It's heavily oversprayed. It's one of our work trucks, so why wouldn't it be? And we'll demonstrate doing the razor blade, and then we'll demonstrate doing the clay bar. So again, using distilled water. A lot of times using the canopy is going to keep your products from evaporating. You're keeping it in the shade. So again, you just want to work it across and come down in one direction. Do not bring the blade across the surface. Once you get it done there, simply wipe it off and work the perimeters. That lubricant will help you the razor slide better across the window and keep it clean. And you can just see the contaminants coming off as you're doing it. Okay, now we're going to demonstrate the clay bar on the window. You first open the clay bar. We're using commercial grade clay. These are coarse bars. They do sell others, but we do recommend this larger bar. The larger bar is going to allow for more contaminants to get trapped into the bar. It's going to cover more surface area for you. The smaller bars just take 3 to 4 times longer to clean with. So this one you can use. You'll be able to do multiple cars with this and keep using it until it's not effective anymore. But you could get up to 20 cars with a clay bar this size. So just lubricate the bar well, knead it a little bit, and go ahead and wet your surface. Don't need a whole lot because it really doesn't start affecting until just at the point of evaporation. And just apply the grease, and you can just feel it coming off right into the bar. You see the contaminants coming off of there. And now you can hear it's not as aggressive. It's coming clean. You know, clay bar is going to have the appearance of looking, you know, a lot neater than a razor blade, but the razor blade seems to be a little bit quicker. You're going to have to make that call on your own. Now you can tell that all the contaminants are off that window and it's clean. And just, again, wipe the window clean. And it's like new. Okay, we're going to work this quarter panel. What you're going to find on quarter panels a lot of times is they have a lot of road grime on them. The clay bar will take that road grime off. If it's super heavy tar stuff, we recommend you getting some auto tar removal for the paint and remove that off. That just keep all that contaminant out of your clay bar, keep your clay bar lasting longer. Again, just water, put it on the surface area, and you only need to put so much as the area you're going to work. Depending on how well they keep their car clean will depend on how much stick you're going to get. The great thing about them often with these roofing products is they're softer than the hard coats on these vehicles. So you don't compromise the hard coat. You don't need a new clear coat put down on the car or anything. Just simple wax when you're done, and it's going to shine it up like new. So, you know, a lot of people have those concerns, but you can bring them to comfort. That's really what it boils down to. The urethane foams and the polyureas and stuff aren't going to typically be harder than that, and they're not going to leave any pitting in the clear coats. Your epoxies, depending on the epoxies, the majority of them are going to come off as well. So, you know, it's not a license to overspray vehicles. You still want to try to avoid it, but you can be assured that you can get it cleaned off without repainting the vehicle. You can just feel the contaminants coming off of it as you're rubbing this through. Again, using the right clay bar makes everything easier. Any of the road grime they leave on there will come off. You can focus in areas. Just fold the clay bar over. You can just feel how smooth it's getting. You don't have any restriction on the bar, you're there. Nice and clean. Apply your wax and you're done. All right, I hope you have enjoyed this week's episode of Fix It Friday. Clay bars are available at www.sprayworksequipment.com. Hopefully we give you some helpful insights. Please like and subscribe.